All right, Chuck, thank you for coming on. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure, thank you. I am the product manager at Crash. It's a startup that helps people launch their careers.
Great, thank you. So, what's one thing you do every day that makes you more valuable?
So I think the biggest thing is that I plan what I'm going to do the night before. So every day when I get up, I know exactly what I need to start my day out with. And I know that the day can, usually get off track. You get messages, you get change priorities, etc. But at least first thing in the morning, I know exactly what I need to get done. And so I don't waste any time trying to figure out what I need to do. I sit down and just get to work on something I've already decided.
That makes a lot of sense. How long have you been doing that for?
I would say that's probably been about 4 years now. I just realized that when I sit down and think through a little bit of what we need to do, I, one, prioritize it, and two, that gives me a chance to go through other messages, emails, etc., see if there's anything that I missed. And so while it seems like, yeah, you just kind of do a quick brain dump, it's a little more than that because it's also a cleanup process as well, right? And that actually rolls into something that might be a little bigger, but has been very helpful for me as well, which is like 4 or 5 months ago, I instituted a morning routine. Now, I am not a morning person by any means. I stay up way too late. I like to sleep in, but I was just feeling like I couldn't get anything done because I would wake up, the rest of my team would already be online. I work remotely, so I don't have to go into an office. We're basically measured by how much work we get done, right, and how responsive we are. So I would sleep in a little bit. I'd get up later than normal. And because I already had a bunch of messages in my inbox, a bunch of messages in Slack, I'd feel behind, right? So I decided I've got to just start getting up and getting into a morning routine so I can get to work at a good time. And more importantly, it's not about getting to work at a certain time, but it's about not feeling behind, right? So my morning routine is I wake up, depending on the day of the week, I either work out or stretch, one of the two. I work out 3 days a week, stretch 2 days a week on those off days. Then make breakfast and coffee, or rather eat breakfast and coffee. I try to batch breakfast. Like I'll make a frittata on Sundays, and then I have that, my wife and I have that for the rest of the week for breakfast. So it takes 5 minutes to heat up because I already put in the time ahead of time to make it. Then once I have my coffee, I'm ahead of the game and ready to go, right? And I had planned the night before what I need to do that day so I can just jump right in. Whereas if I were to skip my morning routine, sleep in, I have a bunch of messages, so that means that I don't start working on exactly what I plan to do. I'm instead in reaction mode. That means that I'm having coffee later, and I'm hopelessly addicted to coffee, right? Like as one of those night owls, I needed to wake up, right? It took me a little while to transition into being able to wake up early. And like when I say wake up early, I don't mean 4 a.m. or something crazy. I'm usually up by like 6:30, which is good enough for me, right? I find that as long as I go to bed by like midnight, I can at least get up by 6:30. If I slip past midnight, it's really hard to get up by then. But get up, knock through that stuff, and I think that's had the most positive change in my work in the last 6 months or so.
Yeah. So explain your positive change. What's the biggest difference you've seen instituting it?
It's about not feeling behind all day. Once you feel behind in the morning, you're behind for the rest of the day, right? It's a negative tone for the rest of your workday. The stuff that you planned on doesn't really get done or gets pushed to the back of the schedule. More comes up, starts piling, and then you have a hole to dig yourself out of, right? So if I'm ahead of the curve, I know what I'm doing, I can get ahead of my work, and that usually means that because I work from home, I don't have any clear boundaries between work and the rest of my life because like I am in my living room right now, right? I live in a 1-bedroom apartment in New York. So I'm in the corner of my living room right now. When I'm eating dinner, I see my workspace, right? It's like, it's right here. So if I can feel ahead of the schedule and get what I plan to get done by the end of the day, then that makes my evenings more relaxing too.
That makes a lot of sense. Great. Thank you so much for explaining.
Yeah, of course.
If people want to find out more about what you're doing and updates on your life, where can they find you?
Sure. I have two main blogs. One, cagrimmett.com. Number two is cooklikechuck.com. That's a more of a cooking, eating blog. And then if you want to see what Crash is doing, go to crash.co.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.